can you say about the Georgia-Auburn series that hasn't already been said?
I've been ready for this game since about Wednesday, and it's finally underway. There goes Herschel! There goes Herschel! Touchdown, Auburn! That was easy pickings. Oh, my gosh! Oh, my goodness!
And the Home Depot SEC on CBS brings us to the 121st meeting of the Deep South's oldest rivalry. From Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, the 10th-ranked Tigers against the #1 team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs. Welcome, everybody. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Allie LaForce. Now, the college football standings came out again on Tuesday. Georgia stayed in the #1 spot, Alabama #2, but Auburn has moved to #10. And with that, Gary, it makes this one that much more important.
As the great philosopher Aaron Rodgers said, relax. A lot of football to be playing.
Hard to relax in this atmosphere. 87,000 plus. Auburn won the toss and deferred. Daniel Carlson will kick it away to Michel and Elijah Holyfield. From the plains, we're underway. Hardman at the goal line. Michel got a little crease, tripped himself up, but he got out to the 30-yard line. And that's where Georgia will go to work first as we take a look at our Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And it all starts with Jake Fromm, the freshman quarterback. Accounted for 18 touchdowns so far, 3 on the ground, 15 through the air. And the guys that'll be up front, going to be interesting. Got a couple of guys on that side, right guard and right tackle, that are freshmen. And we know how good Auburn's front seven is. It'll be interesting. Nick Chubb and Deandre Swift both in the Georgia backfield, and now Swift out to the slot on the first snap of the game. And it's Nick Chubb for a yard, and that's it. And a fired up Auburn defense. Trey Williams made the first stop. There's how they look. Jeff Holland, 8 sacks, leads the way when Jake Fromm drops to pass, which he will here, and got it complete to Charlie Warner, the tight end, but only about another yard.
One of the main coaching points from both sides on this football field today is you have to tackle. The running backs break tackles. The wide receivers get yards after catch. Whichever team has the better tackling team, they believe they can control this game.
Georgia's a 51% team, first in the SEC on third down conversions. Fromm pressured, throws deep this sideline, and it's caught by Hardman. Nope, it's Wims, but it's a first down.
One-on-one. And I'll tell you, when you've got Wims, the ways he's going up and catching these balls lately, if you're Jake Fromm, I don't care if you're still in high school, just throw the ball up there. What a throw and a better catch.
25th catch for Javon Wims this year. First down, Georgia at the 39 of Auburn. Play action. From plenty of time. Complete on the fly. Terry Godwin has got it inside the 15.
Every time Georgia puts their receivers tight, there's the threat of the crossing route. But Brad, you called it. Look at the time. The time to throw the ball, allowing that crossing route, that's about a 4-second route. And if Auburn can't get pressure on an early throwing down like that, Georgia will come back to it.
Georgia's in the red zone already here in the opening 2 minutes after 27 and 25-yard completions from Fromm. Sony Michel, left side. Michel tripped up, but he's inside the 10. Deshaun Davis made the tackle. Verizon red zone, 35 of 36, and the other one was when Godwin fumbled around the 5 a week ago, so that one almost shouldn't count.
Yeah, they didn't even get a snap. I'll tell you what, Sony Michel is such a great one-cut runner now. I thought early in his career he used to just kind of jitterbug too much, trying to make every play a touchdown. Now he plants that foot, and he's tough to tackle.
You look behind Sony and Fromm at the 6-yard line, second down and 2. Michel straight up the middle, bounces off, and it's first and goal. Georgia near the 1.
Well, Lamont Gilliard in the center that time did a good job of getting just enough push, just enough to allow Sony Michel to take that arm tackle and turning it into a first down.
So Georgia started at their own 30, 3 rushes, 3 passes. First and goal just outside the 1. Michel driving. Did he get there? Not quite. Derek Brown stood him up.
And if there's one thing that Auburn is counting on in this game is their front 4 winning one-on-one battles. They go, all that other stuff, the strategy of man versus zone, all that stuff. But if we don't win up front, Georgia is going to give it to us. They
Jumbo set, Fromm goes out, and it's Nick Chubb direct snap and touchdown Georgia.
What a great series of calls by Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator for Georgia. Georgia is a slow-tempo team. They probably have run less plays than almost any, and Chaney comes up in a hurry-up, gives Auburn a bout of everything in this drive, and produces a touchdown on the first drive.
Rodrigo Blankenship in for the point after. And the #1 team in the country certainly looks it in the opening march of this game.
Ness, it's a true freshman quarterback, but it's the 10th week. And Jake Fromm has earned the respect of his coaching staff. Third down, throw it up. His receiver high gets it at the top of his jump, does wins. And then the play action pass. Godwin wide open, sets up the goal-to-goal situation, and Georgia pushes it in with a wildcat and those strong legs from Chubb.
70-yard march, 8 plays. Nick Chubb in the end zone for the 10th time this year. 7-0 Dogs. As Spirit, about a half an hour ago, made a perfect landing at the 49-yard line, but I thought it was pretty sweet.
He didn't stumble at all.
No, not at all. Neither did Georgia on their opening drive. 70 yards for a touchdown. Nick Chubb, 39th rushing touchdown of his brilliant Georgia career. And now Blankenship will kick. And this will be returnable from about the 11-yard line. Big Benogany, and he's going to be dropped after a short return out across the 20. We welcome everybody. Brad Nessler and Gary Danielson. We barely had a chance to get our headsets on, and Georgia's up 7-0.
Yeah, these are big games, right? And big games, what do they have to do? When Georgia got the ball, they're a great running team. What do they got to do?
Well, they got to establish a running game, and then don't let them throw over the top if you're Auburn's defense,
right? You're good at this. But when Auburn has the ball, I think Georgia's going to do the opposite. They got to take away Auburn's deep ball and then stop the run. I think it's going to come down to who at the end, don't you think?
The quarterback?
Yeah, I think it is. Okay. And so far, one quarterback started out pretty well. Let's
see how Jerrod Stidham does. Just going to flip this on a little jet sweep, and it's not going anywhere. Going to lose a yard. Eli Stove. Let's check the Chick-fil-A starting lineups, and it starts with Jerrod Stidham, the quarterback. Told us yesterday, biggest game he's ever been in. It's the biggest game he or Jake Fromm's ever been in because he's never been in this atmosphere before. He's played really well the last 3 weeks. Really since the second half of the LSU game when things kind of fell apart. From that point on, Auburn's played very well. On second down, he's going to roll to throw, fires a rocket, complete. First down Auburn. Craig Myers on the receiving end.
The most experienced offensive lineman is right guard Braden Smith, number 71. Watch him clean up the blitz. Wham! Reggie Carter got it right in the ear hole on that one to clean up that pass.
And now the quick flip out in the flat. Ryan Davis with the completion. We'll check the rest of the starting lineup. We'll have to hurry because Auburn will be hurrying along with us. A guy that's really become a big play wide receiver, Darius Slayton, averaging over 30 yards a catch. At the 41, and it's a wildcat. But Kerryon Johnson patiently waits and now cuts to the right side and gets the sideline into Georgia territory with a stiff arm and a first down at the 41.
Well, Cam Martin was back there with him in the Wildcat, the running back, and then up front, watch this guy all day. Chandler Cox, number 27, also gets a block at the point of attack. But in a way, Auburn has one running back. Georgia has four. Can they keep Kerryon Johnson into the fourth quarter? That'll be a pitch count for Johnson.
Here's his second carry, and it goes for about 4. He got 19 on that last rush. As we check the Dogs defense, Lorenzo Carter has really been coming on and becoming the kind of impact player they expected from him. He's a semifinalist for the Butkus Award now.
Not good news for Auburn here, though. Slayton is going off limping pretty badly. Darius Slayton, their deep ball threat, and a very important part of this big play action pass game that Auburn features.
I'm sorry we highlighted him now.
Yes. He got in the kind of the trash of the play. He was split very tight to the offensive tackle, and the pile landed on him.
Marquise McLean will take his spot at wide receiver. 2nd down and 7. Nice play fake by Stidham. Loads and now has to reload and throws it away. Got some late pressure from Ledbetter.
Darius Slayton, the big play receiver. You see him on the bench. I think it was his ankle. He's right here, close to the action. Watch him come inside, and then the pile kind of falls on him from behind. I don't know, maybe he just lost his footing right away, because it looked like he went down as soon as he attempted to make the block.
He's in the tent right now. Hastings in the lineup, too, as part of a 4 wide-out group here on 3rd down and 7. Auburn, like Georgia, a very good team on 3rd down. Stidham getting late pressure from Carter and company, and he's going to go down. Officially, it's going to be Roquan Smith that got him at the end.
Yeah. You know, officially, I don't know, it's close to a sack. Jerrod might have got to the line of scrimmage to avoid the sack, but this was reminiscent of the Clemson game when Stidham could not find anyone open to throw the ball to. At least in his mind, he did not have an easy throw, and he tucked it and tried to get back to the line of scrimmage. He had 11 sacks against Clemson, and about 4 or 5 of them looked exactly like that. Wow, 54-yarder here.
His career long is 56. He's hit a 54 this year as well. He is a weapon. Got it. And Daniel Carlson, the all-time leading scorer in the SEC, drills another one.
And I got to say, that would have been good from 57, which is an important number around here. Same direction a few years back. Alabama tried one of those, and it didn't work.
Went the other way. Tigers on the board with a long field goal, 7-3.
Welcome back to Jordan-Hare Stadium, where Georgia leads 7-3. We saw Darius Slayton limp off the field. He went into the medical tent. He's dealing with the left ankle injury. They just taped it up. He's working on it on the sideline right now, trying to get back in the game. The team has not told me if he's cleared or not. I'll let you know as soon as I do, guys.
All right, Allie, thanks.
And I think he got stepped on as he was making the block.
As Allie said, he's trying to work it out there on the sideline. Meanwhile, Auburn on the board, 41-yard drive in 8 plays, a little over 3 minutes to get that long field goal from Carlson. 16th field goal of the year for him. And he's hit a lot of them from 50-plus, as you just saw there. His last kick was returnable by Hardman. Let's see if this one will be. It will, from about a yard deep. Spins his way out across the 20, around the 22. From under center, Sony Michel is the tailback as Nauta moves out now as a tight end on the right side. Sony Michel, quick cut, spins for just over a yard. Nice tackle by Carlton Davis. And now Georgia looked like it was going to go tempo there for a second, too. They're at the line. Michel stays in at the tailback spot. Jake Fromm trying to be heard over the crowd. Michel, nothing doing. Andrew Williams, second time this series. The tackle has made a stop. Nick Chubb passed Bo Jackson on that last carry. Is that some serious company or what?
Yeah. You get mentioned with Bo Jackson. You've had a good career.
Over 4,300 yards. He's not in there right now, but his best buddy and roommate, Sony Michel, is. 3rd down and 8. Godwin in motion. Fromm getting some pressure. Down he goes. And it's Jeff Holland, 9th sack of the year.
And he got the matchup that Auburn wants. He's on the true freshman, Andrew Thomas, number 71. The best pass rusher in the SEC is matched up against a true freshman. And he takes a rip right through him for an easy sack. Auburn will be shocked. I know they got the back shoulder throw for the first down before, but Auburn will be shocked if they don't win 3rd and long in this game. They're counting on winning 3rd and long.
Roberts will wait the punt from Cameron Nizelik. Roberts runs up on a fair catch and takes it around the 38-yard line. So 10 minutes into the first quarter. Jeff Holland has given his offense the ball back because of that sack of Jake Fromm. Tigers on offense when we return.
You can see why they're having a good run.
Veterans Day today. We thank all our veterans wherever you might be. Hopefully you got a couple hours to spend with us. First down, Auburn at the 39. And here's an end around, and now Davis wants to throw. Got a man open on the sideline, but just too far in front of Jerrod Stidham.
Well, Ryan Davis was a high school quarterback, and he's already completed a touchdown pass this year, a 62-yarder, but he had to get rid of this one before he wanted to. Pressure coming from Smith, he could feel it, and even though the receiver was wide open, the quarterback could not make the toe tapping catch. I could have had that one.
Yeah, I bet. He laid out for it, that's for sure. So the first trick play of the ball game doesn't work. Here's Stidham back where he belongs. Throwing out in the flat to Barrett. Barrett's up to the 46.
You know, sometimes it's the little things that don't show up in the stat book. Jeff Holland is 250-pound linebacker. Watch the ball almost come out for a fumble turnover. Fromm, good athlete, baseball player, gathers that ball and saves points.
And Holland has forced 4 fumbles this year, almost had number 5. Tight end Brown now shifts to the left side, powers over that way. The run's going straight up the middle for the first down for Kerryon Johnson. Roquan Smith hit him, but didn't hit him early enough.
This is a veteran offensive line for Auburn. 4 seniors are playing in this football game, and one of the guys to keep an eye on is Darius James, the right tackle. He was nicked, had to come out of the A&M game a week ago. They're hoping he is healthy and can play the whole game today.
First down at the 32. Play action. Stidham getting some heat again. Got away, showing good legs, and almost got a first down. Reggie Carter made the stop along with Dominic Sanders.
You know, I really love it. It's what actually Brad told you in the open about this Auburn offense. Because they don't really have the designated running quarterback, they need to continue to keep it wide open, and they have.
Oh, what a cut by Johnson. Are you kidding? First down. Davin Bellamy thought he had him in his sights, and it was whoops.
You know, Davin Bellamy decided to come back to college football because he thought he needed 1 more year. That's what it would have been like in the NFL right there.
Wow. First down at the 14. The flip out. Tough catch by Stove.
Nice tackle.
And they're going to drop him for a yard loss.
Again, you get into this football game, both defenses. Mel Tucker said the same thing. We've got to tackle in space. J.R. Reed, a tackling machine,
he is.
To tell you the truth. One of the real come-through guys, as Mel Tucker has talked about his secondary is. And then the sugar huddle that Auburn puts out right here. They'll get the receivers out. They'll turn around and quick snap it.
And there they go, right at the 15-yard line, 2nd and 11. That one batted in the air. Incomplete knockdown by Walker.
I think it was Tyler Clark, number 52, or was it Walker to the outside that got
Walker.
it? Yes, it was.
Clark wanted the interception.
Yes, I could have had it. That active front, you know, those two wide guys, Carter and Bellamy, and then inside, don't sleep on those inside guys. They are big and strong and experienced.
Georgia four-man rush. Stidham still getting some pressure. Throws as he's going left. Oh, what a nice play at the very end by Roquan Smith.
I tell you, when you watch tape, you see number 3 going all over the football. It reminds you of Ruben Foster from Alabama. He was a midseason All-American. Middle linebacker was Smith, and you can see why. He's either making tackles, hitting the quarterback, or in this instance, knocking down a pass to save a potential touchdown.
Hastings had a step back there in the corner. What a play by a linebacker. That's why he's a Butker semifinalist as well. Carlson hit his first one from 54. This is 37 yards to try to make it a one-point game. And it's up, and it's good. So a minute 20 remaining in the first quarter. Stidham on the phone upstairs took a shot from Lorenzo Carter at the end of that last play, but the Tigers have cut the lead to 1. Auburn cuts the Georgia lead to 1, courtesy of Daniel Carlson. Another field goal, all-time leading scorer in SEC history, and 5th all-time among kickers. 446 points. What a weapon that guy is. He's money. Yep. He did have a couple block last week.
He did, and it looks like their tempo has improved a little bit on the kicks. I thought their rhythm was a little too slow last week. It looks like they've got that stopwatch out and speeding it up a bit.
Tyler Stovall, his holder, has been the guy for all of those points, believe it or not. Talked to him yesterday. Interesting story. Played baseball, minor league baseball, for 5 years before coming back to Auburn and playing football. And Hardman's going to bring it out again. I thought he'd stay in this time, but he's weaving his way on a nice return. Michel Hardman, far sideline, across the 40, all the way out to the 48-yard line. That was pretty nifty.
Well, I'll tell you, if Jeremy Dinson didn't get him that time, I don't think anybody would have, because it was just Carlson after that. Nico comes out left, feels that there's an opening to the right, and if Dinson, number 20, doesn't get him here, I don't know who is.
47-yard return, and they have not done well.
No.
The not-so-special teams of Auburn.
They're playing right into their scouting report.
They sure are. Right into our graphic department. 1st and 10, Georgia with a 1-point lead. Nick Chubb into Auburn territory to the 48.
You know, we talked about that the Auburn team has to stop the run first, because Georgia runs 7 out of every 10 plays they run. In fact, you know, they're 8th in the country in rush yardage, and if you look at everybody in front of them, they're all wishbone teams.
Yeah.
Army, Navy, and Georgia Tech. I mean, they run the ball, and they're going to run the ball.
279 yards a game. And Chubb again cuts it to a 3rd and short. What a first quarter it was. 7-6 at the end of 1. We'll return to Auburn after this message and a word from your local station. At Toomer's Corner, that'll be a busy place tonight if Auburn upsets Georgia. There's a couple of trees over there that are off limits. The rest of the street, do whatever you want on the TP side of things. We only had to move the ball about 8 yards between quarters, going the other way. Now Georgia at the Auburn 46-yard line.
And what do you do if you're Jim Chaney? Remember last time it was a sack. 3rd and medium, though. The quarterback is a threat as a runner in this situation.
Nada, the tight end, in motion. Fromm flips it, intended for him, and it's broken up. So 4th down. As we start the second quarter with a nice stop by the Auburn defense. You've been telling me all week Auburn's going to pull out Alba stops. Yes. That last series, they had a flea flicker and a throwback to the quarterback. They're using everything.
And even if they don't work, it's part of the game plan. Without the running quarterback, Auburn has to keep the defense honest. Sometimes you do it with the running quarterback. They're going to do it with the play-action passes, the deep throws, the gadget plays. That's how they feel they can run the ball throughout the game, is to keep the Georgia defense honest. And Georgia has to be honest because they keep throwing them.
Nizelek to punt. End over end. This one's going to bounce and pick a Georgia roll inside
really
the 10.
Bounce. I think it, yes, I was at the 9-yard line.
Yep.
He's got 6 carries already, which would be on a pace of 24 with my Purdue math right there.
We're pretty good at that.
Yep.
You weren't an astronaut, but mathematician maybe. Here's a quick throw out to Stove, and Stove's got a crease. Georgia still hasn't gotten him down. All the way out to the 29-yard line.
It's so different watching this team. I wondered how would Gus Malzahn kind of develop this team without his favorite running quarterback like a Cam Newton or Nick Marshall. And look at it, just looks different. They keep you honest in the passing game.
And here comes Kerryon Johnson. There goes Kerryon Johnson. First down, Auburn. Dominic Sanders and J.R. Reed finally got him down. This is where you can go tempo when it's working like this. There's a big shift. They get 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, and an empty backfield for Stidham. Throw is right on the money. Wide open. Chandler Cox, the fullback.
Does anybody recognize this Auburn offense from the past? Going no huddle, putting their H-back out as the wide receiver and throwing it on first down, being aggressive.
And inside the Georgia 15, Johnson only got about a yard this time. We haven't even talked about missing Cam Petway, who would be a huge addition and would help Kerryon Johnson as he did a year ago in the backfield.
He was the main guy a year ago. Interestingly, both guys have had trouble with hamstrings that cost them part of their season. But without Petway and that 1-2 punch, it's been all Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah, we haven't seen Cam Martin yet. We expect to give Johnson a breather sometime. Second down and 9 at the Georgia 12. Kerryon Johnson again. This time Georgia's waiting for him. Nice open field stop out there by Aaron Davis. And it's not easy to bring him down in the open field over there. So the biggest third down of this first half probably right here. Third down at 10. They've got to get inside the 4 for a first down.
Still got plenty of time on the play clock.
Kerryon Johnson flanks Stidham. Davis in motion. Lorenzo Carter trying to get some pressure on Stidham, and he underthrew Darius Slayton, his intended receiver.
One of the trademarks of the Alabama / now Georgia / South Carolina / Florida defenses, they handle these crossing routes. This defensive tree that has been created by Nick Saban and his proteges that have gone around and played this defense handle those inside crossing routes as well as anybody in college football.
Carlson's hit from 54 and 37. This one should be easy for him from 30 to try to give Auburn the lead. And it is easy for him. Auburn takes the lead for the first time in the first half. 3 Carlson field goals. And the Tigers at home now lead the #1 team in the country 9-7. Carlson to kick away to Hardman and Elijah Holyfield. And Hardman, the last time he touched it, had a 47-yard return.
I feel like, you know, you got those old guys, like those old running backs going, shut up, Gary. Just let him carry the ball. Herschel carried it, what, 40 a game?
Yeah, right. Here's Hardman again from about the 5. And found a little opening to get out to the 28, maybe the 29-yard line for Georgia to take over offensively now. And Jake Fromm, who started out 3 for 3, is 0 for 2 since and's been sacked a couple of times. And now on the end around is Hardman out to the 40.
You know, and even if you take the 2 sacks out, there's still the running backs have carried the ball 12 times for 34 yards. When you watch Georgia run, though, their offense against, especially when you watch the Florida game, they plug along, and then all of a sudden one of those bracks makes you miss, and they are gone. So don't go to sleep on this Georgia running game. It can explode at any time.
Right now it's Nick Chubb in the backfield on second down and 3. And it'll be Nick Chubb with the handle, trying to spin his way, but they're not going to get him there. Carlton Davis stood him up, and Trey Williams finished him off. It's third down. Georgia's going to bring in an extra tight end. Third down and a yard. And it'll be Sony Michel with Fromm in the Georgia backfield. And he's not going to get it either. Great stop by the Auburn defense led by Trey Matthews.
Well, Trey Matthews has a lot of memories about this game.
Does he ever? In
both uniforms. But with him healthy, he's a big part of this football game. Almost playing a linebacker position. He guess he's unaccounted for on a short yardage play, which is hard to believe that they just don't hit that up there and just make it happen. But for whatever reason, Trey Matthews is playing a linebacker spot, wasn't blocked.
Nislek's kick. Fair catch, called for and taken in some traffic.
That's going to be a penalty, though. You still have to give room for the receiver to catch the ball. I think they were too close that time.
Jason Stanley looks like maybe the guilty party.
And watch out. This is where Auburn likes to go that play action pass. See, if you're the Georgia secondary, you can never crowd the line of scrimmage because you're always worried about that deep ball they will throw.
Golston and James, the two tackles, have switched spots for Auburn as they go to the left side behind James. And a nice gain on the play. Actually,
I think it's Golston is at right tackle now, number 73.
Well, he plays everywhere on the line.
He does, but he was at left tackle, and Prince Monago is now in the game at the left tackle, number 76, I believe. But, boy, they all look kind of big and the same down here, don't they?
We asked Golston yesterday, what do you like to play the best? He said either center or left tackle, but I don't know, wherever they put me. There's a big play for the Georgia defense if they want to get the ball back before halftime. Third down and 9.
Yes, they have made that change. Golston is now at right tackle.
Georgia thinking about a blitz off the corner.
Yeah, they were going to do more than think about it. He's coming.
And there they come. They go right at Stidham, trying to track him down. And it got to him, incomplete. They've got a kick.
Interesting. The quarterback looks back at the bench. You and I could both tell they were coming off the slot. They were blitzing, but he still rolls right into the blitz. And all Stidham could do was try to buy time and see if he could get the ball late to his receiver.
They actually brought two guys, both
sure
Reed and Davis.
Well, you knew at least one was coming, and it was never called off. You'd think all these guys that looked to the bench, they would change the play, but they did not.
Marshall to punt. Georgia bringing some heat on their punter. Flag down.
You know, I wonder if it was leaping on that play. Trying to block the kick. I wonder if they're going to call it leaping.
Matt Austin, our referee, will make the call here.
Personal foul. 15 of the defense leaping the punt shield. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Just like on field goals, you cannot leap. It's a dangerous play. Watch him go down. The reason that is called, just for that reason, the player, once he goes up, gets his legs taken out, and he goes right down on his head. It's a very dangerous play, and why it was put into college football.
Two huge penalties on the Bulldogs. That's their 5th penalty. It's another big one, and it gives Auburn new life for their offense.
You know, sometimes you can get a little too up for a football game, and it doesn't feel right now. Some of these miscues, these self-inflicted miscues by Georgia, they're just a bit too jacked up for this game. But it's not a disaster for Auburn because it happened downfield, so they get, what, 1st and 9 here?
Yep. And a quick swing pass out to Kerryon Johnson in the open field. He's got a first down.
I'll tell you, he was a valuable football player for Auburn is Chandler Cox, number 27. On the right side of your screen, he got the block on Patrick that time, number 6, the linebacker, and allowed Kerryon Johnson to get those extra yards after the catch.
So Auburn moves the chains to the Georgia 43 with another first down with 4:25 remaining in the half. Stidham puff fakes one way, wants it all down the middle. Man there, got it, touchdown, Slayton.
Darius Slayton times this catch beautifully. He sees it, slows down, and keeps Malcolm Parrish on his back. There's the fake, and watch Slayton slow down and catch it over his shoulder. There's nothing Parrish could have done. Look at that snag. And as I said, Brad, I just told you I'm a deep threat. I'm not a blocker.
That's right. He averages 30.8 yards a catch. That one was good for 42.
And he was, the night before signing day, everyone expected Darius Slayton, a Georgia high school football player, to sign with Georgia. And look at him slow down and catch that. That's as good as you can do.
Man.
That's like a turnover. When you have a penalty on a punt, that is a turnover.
Carlson for the extra points. Up and good.
And Auburn gets the ball to start the second half.
Alley's with Kirby Smart.
Coach, when you guys got the ball back to end the half, why didn't you go with more aggressive play calling to try to go for the touchdown?
We probably should have. We thought they'd be playing more of a soft defense. Thought we might hit a run in there. But at the end of the day, we're trying to get a field goal. Thought we could get a couple yards for the kicker and didn't.
Auburn only had to punt twice. What will you stress to your defense?
Biggest thing is getting off the field on third down, getting them to third down, and then no dumb penalties. I mean, that kills you. We give them 7 points on a dumb play.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
No truer words could be spoken by a head coach.
He was watching the same game we were, right?
I think so, yeah. So 16-7 at the break. 10th ranked Auburn Tigers holding their home field so far through 2 quarters. Adam Zucker, Brian Jones, Houston Knight will be along with the Geico halftime report after this. Just about set to start the third quarter at Jordan-Hare Stadium, and the #1 team in the country trailing number 10, 16-7. Blankenship has got it teed up. Auburn will get the football first. Nick Bignogany and Cam Martin are back deep. And this one will be out the back of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 25. We welcome you back to Auburn. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Dave's over there, George is over there, Clint's there, Phil's there, Tara's up there. We've got Barb's behind us.
This is our home right here.
You know, first half, I got to give Auburn credit. They held Georgia to 19 yards rushing. Right. But you talk about a group of Bulldogs that bit themselves in the paws in that first half.
Yeah, dumb penalties, as Kirby called them, and a couple of potential big plays. But a couple things to think about. 9-point lead. That was the same lead they had at LSU, and in both of Auburn's losses, they did not score a point in the second half at Clemson or at LSU, but this is not an at. This is a home game.
And here's an end around to Eli Stove for the first play, and it's a big one. 13-yard pickup and a first down.
No doubt in my mind that Gus Malzahn walked into his halftime locker room and said, we didn't score twice in the second half of our losses. We have to put points on the board or we won't win this football game.
Let's check in with Allie.
I did talk to Coach Malzahn, and his message to the team was keep the hammer down. He was really happy with the way they stopped the run and the pressure they put on the quarterback. But he said we have to run the ball better, but not a lot of changes, just more of the same, guys.
And they have started off very nicely out to the 45-yard line. They go with that little sugar huddle again that Gary talked about on 2nd and 4. And they're trying to come with Stove, and he only got about a yard. So third down.
Again, Chandler Cox, the H-back fullback, gets a great block to the outside right there. To the outside against Aaron Davis, number 35, to at least give the play a chance. If you're interested in watching, well, he's not out there right now, some good blocking. Watch that guy.
They need to get to the 49 for a first down.
Will the Georgia front four do it again? They did it once.
Roquan Smith was thinking about a blitz in the middle. And here he comes. The throw complete. First down.
Oh, that's a nice catch. It was not an accurate throw. This could have been a lot easier, but Darius Slayton makes the play. And it's going to be close.
After review, the ruling is an incomplete pass. Therefore, the ball will be returned to the 46.5-yard line, where it'll be fourth down. Clock operator, please reset the game clock to 13:31.
So instead of a catch and a first down, it's a punting situation.
And just enough, you know, they'll allow the receiver to catch the ball and touch the ground, but they won't allow that ground to help with the catch. You can't have a third hand out there with the ground catching it. As good as you were, Darius, on the other catch, that one, and it really wasn't his fault. It wasn't a great throw by Jerrod Stidham.
So Marshall will punt. Michel Hardman stands back around the 15 for Georgia. He had a really nice kick return in the first half and a couple of pretty good punt returns.
Well, it's hard to believe with all the great athletes that Auburn has, they have such poor punt return coverage. High enough. This is what you need.
And Hardman dropped it. Did he get back on top of it?
He did not.
Auburn's got it. So much for bad punt coverage.
Yep. And you know, Hardman had a chance to get it, but he whiffed on it. Totally whiffed on it. When he fumbled the punt once, and then when he tried to get it, watch him just whiff. A miss off his knee, and watch another miss right here. Whoop, right over the top of the football.
And finally, number 49's the guy that came out of the pile with it, Darrell Williams. So a guy that had made a couple big plays and punt and kick returns today drops that one. And now Auburn almost in the Georgia scoring zone, their red zone right here at the 23-yard line. Great opportunity for the Tigers. They come with the end around to Stove again. They've used this play a few times today.
Well, Eli Stove is listed as a wide receiver because you'd almost say he's a glorified running back. Came into the game with 20 rush attempts for over 200 yards, and he continues to run the football from that wide receiver spot.
Terry Godwin consoling Michel Hardman over there on the Georgia sideline.
Oh, great play. Did not clean up the tackle.
And he ends up getting the first down. Kerryon Johnson, second effort, maybe third effort.
I'll tell you, I know Le'Veon Bell's name is thrown out a lot in comparisons, but the more you watch him do this type of stuff, isn't that exactly what Bell does for the Steelers?
Yep. So first down, Auburn at the Georgia 12.
I mean, John Atkins, a senior, a great football player, inside nose tackle, had him dead to rights.
Just couldn't hold him.
Yeah.
Now it's the Wildcat. It's all Kerryon Johnson again with blockers in front. Then he accelerates, taken down from behind. After a good stiff arm, J.R. Reed got him down.
I'll tell you, Brandon Smith, number 71, pulls out and cleans up on J.R. Reed.
Reed actually made the tackle, so give him a little credit for hanging in there.
Yes, you're right. Brandon Smith, Pat Dye was out at practice, and Pat Dye said, Garrett, give Brandon Smith some love. He's an All-American starter for 4 years here for the Tigers. Great football player, Gary. Great number 71. Gotcha, Coach.
Tigers can get a first down at the 2. And it's Stidham on the keeper. Heading to the corner. Got there. Touchdown, Auburn. Third rushing touchdown of the year for Jerrod Stidham.
Well, I actually think Jerrod Stidham could have given the ball for a touchdown. Watch Kerryon Johnson. Gets it. That could have been a touchdown because it was well blocked. And then Stidham himself gets in there, actually with a good block at the end from Slayton.
Extra point is good. 11:57 to go in the third quarter, and the hole is getting deeper for the #1 team in the country. It all started with a fumble punt by Michel right there, covered by Darrell Williams. And with that, they only had to go 23 yards in 4 plays. That was the capper. And Auburn trying to pull an upset on the Plains, 23-7. (23-7) now, Auburn in front. So look at our game trends. Stidham's played very well. Touchdown on the ground, a touchdown toss today. Georgia running backs have been totally shut down. Nick Chubb and Sony Michel. And most of those 5 first downs came on Georgia's opening 70-yard drive.
That's right.
Since then, 5 punts. No more points.
I think they have 70 yards on that first drive and 35 the rest of the half.
Yeah. Well, there's the guy that dropped the punt, but he did have a 47-yard kick return in the first half.
Yeah, they had 22 plays. I was just told by my spotter over here, David. 22 plays for 35 yards after the first drive.
Carlson's kick will go to Hardman on the fly at the 6. As you look up above, and he cuts back, and he's cut down right about the 24, 25-yard line. From getting pressure, and down he goes, and the ball is out. Georgia's going to cover it. Kendall Baker got on top of it. That could have been a disaster right there.
And Georgia couldn't keep any more guys in. They kept everybody in on this play. They must have had 5 offensive linemen. The tight end stays in, and the fullback stays in, and still get a block that time from the backside. And man, Dontavius Russell, it took him forever, but obviously Georgia didn't have enough guys out there to make anybody look open.
Georgia doesn't have to pick up all of this on this play. On 2nd and 21, Swift will try to get some of it back, but he only got about 3 or 4. And now it's 3rd and long.
You know, Ness, we were told by Kevin Steele, but when I watched practice on Thursday, one thing did stand out. As good as Sony Michel and Nick Chubb are, the Auburn defense is keying on number 7. They had a special jersey on Swift all during practice. As Kevin Steele said, we have to know where number 7 is. He's the guy that does all of the different things from the running backs.
Georgia hasn't had a big play from a wide receiver since the opening drive of the ball game. They still don't. Incomplete, intended for Wims. He's looking for a flag from Jamel Dean, doesn't get one.
How about Auburn now? 3rd down and 20 yards? 3rd down and 17.
Yep.
And Auburn goes bump and run, man-to-man, face-to-face, and challenges the Georgia quarterback to throw a back shoulder play.
Kevin Steele also told us we ain't backing up.
We ain't backing up. I think that's the theme that Gus Malzahn has said. Keep your foot on the pedal. If we're going to beat this great Georgia team, we cannot let up or back up.
Nizelek to punt. And there's a flag. Georgia was moving, I think, before the snap.
They were.
False start. Offense number 3. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
I was going to say it was Roquan Smith, but there might be 3 number 3s in college football, right?
It is him.
Is it? Okay, we got it right there.
One of the great things we love about college football.
Exactly.
Triple numbers.
You can be in it 30 years and still be afraid to call it a name, right?
Here's Nizelek's punt. Everybody coming down, and here's a big punt return for Auburn. Ryan Davis. And now we got a fight going on, or a celebration of some sort. We got a flag down, I think, in the backfield. See who this is going against.
I thought it was Sony Michel that time that got in the middle of this thing. You see this Auburn team, we've got drawn away on the punt return.
Following the play, dead ball, personal foul, number 1 of Georgia. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Georgia's going to look back at this game and say, how many times did we do something stupid and a flag flying?
It was Sony, Michel, and it happened way down away from the play.
A good punt return, 15 more in Auburn's favor, and they lead 23-7. Auburn got a 26-yard punt return. It'll take you back to the penalty, though, at the end, which is 15 more.
Yeah, it happened right here. Sony Michel gets hung up with the Auburn defender and throws him down on the ground right there. That's a 15-yard penalty. But watch the punt return. They fake it. 2 men are back for Auburn, which is very unusual. The punt returner goes to the one side. That's Stephen Roberts. And then from the other side, the Auburn player backs up and catches the ball. Very, very tricky punt return.
Wildcat now with Kerryon Johnson on the first snap. Might have gotten a yard before he's run out of bounds. So with all of that, the penalty, 26-yard punt return. So the line of scrimmage, short field again, Gary, 34-yard line.
Yeah, and again, just to kind of, this Georgia team just seems to be too hyper in this football game. They just are trying a little too hard, doing a little too much, and it's catching up with them.
They gave Johnson 2, so it's 2nd down and 8.
Here comes that blitz off the wide side of the field.
They brought both guys last time.
And they're coming again.
Stidham's going to throw right into that, and that's a good spot. Davis broke a tackle inside the 20. Davis, touchdown Auburn. What a beautiful call for where the pressure was coming from, and Ryan Davis did the rest. 32-yard touchdown.
One thing you know, if you and I knows where the blitz is coming, Chip Lindsey and Gus Malzahn and Jerrod Stidham know where the blitz is coming, and they didn't roll into it this time. They threw behind it. Perfect call.
Extra point by Carlson is up and good.
Remember last time that the blitz came off the edge, what happened is Jerrod Stidham rolled into it. This time he says, I'm not doing that. This time I'm throwing into it. Roquan Smith is the guy that missed the tackle. He had a shot on it, but once you get in the open field, it's tough to handle Ryan Davis.
His 5th touchdown of the year. And #1 Georgia's in a heap of trouble on the Plains. Well, after the punt return and the penalty, Auburn only had to go 2 plays for their 34 yards. Ryan Davis, 32-yard touchdown reception from Jerrod Stidham. And it's 30-7. #10 Auburn at home with a lead.
Well, this is just unfolding unbelievably for Georgia, making mistakes, not being able to do what they want to do. Remember, they've only been held under 200 yards rushing 1 time this year, and that was 185 by Notre Dame. They've got 19 yards so far in this game.
Wow. Kick's going to be taken by Elijah Holyfield, and he's dropped after a return of about 10 yards. Well, Georgia's already clinched the SEC East, but they had bigger fish that they were planning on frying. Auburn's got a different plan right now, 30-7. And Jake Fromm will be under extreme pressure for the next 23 minutes. Nick Chubb, again, nothing doing, a yard maybe. We take a look at the Dr. Pepper SEC standings in the West. Auburn controls its own destiny. They win today, then 2 weeks from now it's the Iron Bowl. If Alabama's still undefeated, they would have an opportunity to beat another #1 team, then go to the Georgia Dome and beat a Georgia team again. I mean, there's a way.
It's incredible.
It is
incredible. What an opportunity they have. We were here in 2013 when they had those 2 miracles, but playing this well against Georgia, hard to believe.
Fromm on a bootleg, throws complete. One of the few completions since way back early in the ball game, Terry Godwin, but it's not a first down.
And the reason Georgia has to throw like that, rolling out, just take a look at last week's game against South Carolina. They threw the ball 22 times, but 12 of them were RPOs. The offensive line were run blocking. They only pass blocked 10 times in last week's game against South Carolina. They're going to have to do that in this half.
Third down at 4. Here comes the blitz from deep on the sidelines. Got a man open. It's Wims. He's got a first down, still on his feet, down near the 31-yard line.
Another mix-up by this Auburn defense. Watch, 2 guys take one, and Wims is wide open. A bust in the secondary, and this time Fromm had enough time to make the Auburn defense pay. That's the 3rd time in this game Georgia's had big play opportunities, the first time they've been able to convert one.
They're finally back relatively deep in Auburn territory at the 31-yard line. Deandre Swift in there in the backfield for Georgia now. They fake it to Hardman, who wants to go back to him, and he's going to throw it away. And he took a hit after throwing that pass out of bounds, checking with Allen.
Guys, the Georgia defense was really rattled. Some infighting going on, some arguing, but Kirby Smart doesn't miss a beat. The second they get off the field, he's there. He's calming them down. He's drawing up plays. It got to the point where defensive end Jonathan Ledbetter had to come over to the defense and just say, guys, settle down. Let's have eye discipline, read everything, play composed. We still got this. Let's keep our heads up.
Ness, I thought Georgia caught a break on that last pass. Jake Fromm was in the pocket and clearly threw the ball away and got away with it.
I thought he had Michel Hardman wide open too, but now it's Swift, only a yard. Derek Brown made the tackle.
Well, when Derek Brown, number 5 right there, is healthy and a big motor, he wins. And you could see that time he just threw away Solomon Conley that time, number 66. Just tossed him away like a rag doll.
He was their leading tackler against Texas A&M last week. A big stop there. Georgia, 279, 8th in the country, and today they've got 20 yards on the ground. And this one won't be on the ground either. 3rd and 9. Big rollout. Holland chasing Fromm, and it's incomplete. Gary, do they go for it here?
I don't know. From that far, 3rd and long, I think I go field goal, to tell you the truth, and try to get it there. I just don't think they can make it from that far. Darrell Williams, number 49, put the pressure on the edge rush that time, and Jake just couldn't get enough on this pass. I just try to put 3 points on the board.
Well, the last time they tied on the same spot at the end of the second quarter, he missed it from 42. It's going to be another 42.
Yeah, Georgia's done a little bit of everything. Mistakes on special teams and a missed field goal on special teams.
Beg your pardon, this is 47. Blankenship's kick on the way, and this one is good.
They blew the whistle early here, it looked like. Nope, it's all good.
So Georgia gets something out of that and inches a little bit closer. A 47-yard field goal by Blankenship caps a 45-yard drive and gets it to within 20. Everything is on the line, and the dreams that Jason Aldean's singing about in the Auburn Tigers' minds right now. They're up 20 with 5:23 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Ness, one of the things that's forgotten about the prayer of Jordan Hare in 2013 was that Georgia was trailing by 20 points in that game in the 4th quarter. They came back to take the lead. Their quarterback was Aaron Murray. I will say good. That, but they've been down before, and you got to chip away, and then hope there isn't time for Nick Marshall to show back up at the end of the game.
Yeah, exactly. As Kirby Smart would say, you got to keep chopping wood. I got a lot of wood left to chop. Blankenship kick will go out of the back of the end zone, bring it out to the 25. And here's Stove in motion. Kerryon Johnson again. Out across the 20.
If they could give the ball somewhere to another player right here for one play, it's almost like basketball. You can take a timeout, right, with the end of the quarter right here and get to the 4th quarter and give them a rest. Gus Malzahn said in this type of game, he's not afraid to run his quarterback. Let's see if we might not get a quarterback run and a bit of a rest for Johnson.
They shift Davis over in the slot on 2nd and 6. Yep. They're going to throw it out to him.
Same thing.
And he went for a touchdown last time. He almost got a first down this time. And that's going to wind the third quarter down.
Same strategy. Don't give it to Johnson. Get it to the fourth quarter. Get the rest at the end of the third quarter.
The Dogs defense is not giving Kerryon Johnson a 100-yard game. Kerryon Johnson's taken the Georgia defense for a 100-yard game through 3 quarters. I can tell you there's none of that going on the Georgia sideline right now. The Tigers have the Dogs right where they want them as we enter the fourth quarter. 30-10, Auburn in front. They go with that short huddle again on a third down and the length of the football to start the fourth quarter.
And Kerryon is rested.
And here he comes again, easily for the first down. Got about 5. Kerryon Johnson's carried the load today for Auburn as he has all season. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Ali LaForce. I don't know what Georgia can do right now. Auburn's just too well balanced on both sides of the ball.
It's been Auburn's willingness to be balanced through the whole game. But the other part of it is, you know, this Georgia defense held Notre Dame to 55 yards rushing. Auburn's run the ball for 150-plus yards in this football game. And, you know, if you're able to run the ball against this stout Georgia defense, you got a chance. They've made the big plays, but they made the little plays, too.
And Johnson, that's a 25th carry for him. Boy, he's just special. Especially for a guy that missed 2 games with a hamstring. You usually think a back like that, you hurt your hamstring and never gets healthy enough to be as effective as he's been.
That 1-yard huddle. They usually like to go wide on these situations with the quick toss.
Davis is the guy that's going to be coming back in motion the other way. Here comes the end around to Stove. Stove's got the corner, and he's got great speed. Down inside the Georgia 40. Everybody getting in the act for the Tigers.
Yep, been watching Gus Malzahn run these type of plays since he was at Arkansas under Houston Nutt as a coordinator. He did it under Gene Chizik when he was the offensive coordinator on their national championship run. He runs the same plays, and he keeps doing it over and over again.
And everything they're dialing up right now has been working. Kerryon Johnson carries it again. That run by Stove got him 30 yards. They started this drive at their own 3-yard line, remember, in the previous quarter. Johnson straight up the middle again, and he comes out the backside and almost got a first down.
So big here for Georgia. If they can hold it to a field goal, they could still make it a 3-possession game. A touchdown just about finishes them.
It's at the 12-yard line. It's third down, and we have it listed as 1, but it's a really long one. It's closer to 2. Hastings and Davis sprint out of that huddle to the left. And Davis goes back the other way. They drop the ball. Who's got it? Georgia says they do.
Wow.
I think Kerryon Johnson got back on it.
Auburn's got to go field goal. They don't have any choice.
That might be Kerryon's best carry of the day right there.
Best play. Fumble the snap. It was going to Kerryon on the play, and he ended up with it.
Wow. So it's going to be Carlson again.
And just remember, even if it's a field goal, the other part of it, they ate up over 6 minutes of time.
So now we'll try from 37. And he still got it. Tack on 3 more for the SEC's all-time leading scorer. 33-10.
I think the play calling for Auburn has been stud level, and obviously the rush defense for Auburn.
Yeah.
But if you're calling plays, you know you got to avoid 3rd and long because you can't pass block him. It's just one of those catch-22s. If you're Jim Chaney over there, what do you do? And it hasn't worked so far, to say.
Right. By the way, throw in 4 field goals by not that guy, but the guy right in the previous picture.
Know.
That doesn't hurt either.
I think the penalties really got Georgia off to the wrong start here.
Here's another pooch kick, trying to keep it out of Hardman's hands, and one of the up guys is forced to call a fair catch from off play action. Hesitates. Here comes the heat. Throws it away. And Jake has to pick himself up back at the 5-yard line again. Again, top 10. Georgia in serious danger right now of going to 9-1. Alabama would move in to the #1 spot if they beat Mississippi State tonight. Clemson in danger, as Adam just told you, in what looked like the game of the year in the ACC. Maybe it will be. I don't know. 2nd and 10. Brian Harrion gets the handoff on the sweep, but he's running out of real estate. Nowhere to go. Stephen Roberts, they stretched it out, and Roberts knocked him out of bounds.
Again, that's what you see on tape when you look at this Auburn elite defense. Players that can run down plays. At times it's Roberts coming from the secondary spot, string it out, nothing there. Run up the middle, and those big 4 front defensive linemen are allowing Georgia to do it. Where do you go?
Give Jeremiah Denson some credit, too. He fought off the block of Nick Chubb. And that's why they had to go so wide and didn't get anything. They got a yard, but that's it. 3rd and 9. From pressure coming. Hit as he throws, incomplete. And now it's a feeding frenzy right now for the Tiger defense.
What did we start out saying? Auburn believed they not only could win 3rd down and long, they were going to dominate 3rd down and long. That was the game plan all along. That's what Kevin Steele sold on his front 4, that we could dominate 3rd down and turn around this football game. And you can see what happened that time. From the inside out, you get the arm hit and nothing happens. Marlon Davidson with the play.
There's Kevin Steele. Marlon Davidson, you saw him dancing off to the sideline after that big hit on Fromm, and forces another punt. It's a beauty. Roberts has to backpedal to the 22. And he'll go down at the 26. So Auburn's got it back with a 23-point lead and 9:13 remaining.
Oh, I know what I'm saying if I'm Gus Malzahn and Chip Lindsey now. Don't make a mistake, and we're going to win this football game.
Jerrod Stidham told us, biggest game I've ever played in my life, and he has
stepped up.
Yes, he has. And so is this guy. Carryon Davis out to the 30. Let's check in with Allie.
Guys, Jerrod Stidham is showing great leadership on the sideline. He's in constant communication with his teammates. He's going up to the offensive line in between every single possession and just encouraging them. He even gathered the whole offense to pray before the 4th quarter. And, you know, just talking to Coach Malzahn, he said there's nothing like experience. He admitted his first game was jittery. He went through the Clemson game. He learned a lot, and now he's starting to have that calm in the pocket, and he's able to react instead of think. And you can see it in the sidelines and the way the teammates trust him. Definitely stud him this time around.
Totally down. Carryon Johnson, another 1st down run. Big collision with J.R. Reed at the end of it, but he's up around 160 or so now.
You know, Ness, in this game, we always do a play of the game, and we might have a spectacular one, but you really could grab any of Carryon Johnson's runs in this game to epitomize what the play of the game was for 31 times in this game, because what Carryon Johnson's done, he had 15 rushes in the first half, but he's been 16 rushes for 86 yards in the second half. And Counter that with what he did at LSU when he only had 33 yards in the second half rushing. The second half rushing, he's been there.
And there's his career high rushing, total 32. He had 31 in that LSU game Gary was just talking about, so now new career high in rushes.
But he pointed out, I had 156 yards running against LSU, but only 33 in the second half. He was determined that that wasn't going to happen again. He's the leading rusher for attempts in the SEC at 24 per game. But 3 of the last 4 games, he's carried it more than 30. And, in all our interviews, we kept talking about backup running back Cam Martin. Oh, we like him. We like him. We could see him. We could see him. He's the only running back to really touch the ball.
And now it's Stidham on the keeper. Trying to get around the Georgia linebacker. Took a pretty good hit from David Bellamy.
That is something that Auburn cannot afford to do. They need Stidham for Alabama and Georgia again. And watch the hit he's going to take here by 3 Georgia defenders.
I think he wanted to get down.
Yeah. Yes. That was an unnecessary hit because Auburn cannot win without Jerrod Stidham.
They got a 3rd down and 3 here at the 45.
Boy, that stung him. He is not still 100% from that hit.
Gonna roll out.
Throwback
this way to who else? Kerryon Johnson with a convoy in front. Johnson down the sideline. Inside the 20. He's gonna score. The pedal just got pushed to the floor. And the hammer just came down on number 1 Georgia. A 55-yard pass play.
Well, they had 3 great players in front of them. Brandon Smith, Casey Dunham, and Priste Wanogo. And they cleared the way. And as Brad made the call, you knew he was going to stretch it out and get that touchdown. What a throttling of the number 1 team in the country by Auburn.
Carlson's extra point is good. The stunned looks on the Georgia sideline, the jubilation on the other sideline. Tells the story. Kerryon Johnson. Is he the best player in the SEC? He's one of the top 5. I'm going to tell you that right now. 55 yards on the throwback pass. And the Auburn Tigers are putting it on the Georgia Bulldogs on the Plains. It's almost like the Auburn defense said to Nick Chubb, you might pass Bo Jackson today on the all-time list, but you're not getting much farther. Meanwhile, Kerryon Johnson has been sensational.
And everything about it. The way he runs, the way he squeezes through, his stamina, his physical play, his patience when he carries the ball, the play calling. It has been a perfect night for the Auburn offense.
And as he said earlier this week, and you may not have heard us talk about it, he said, it doesn't bother me. I just run until the game's over. It's just about over for Georgia right now. 6:13 to go.
Pooch kick. Why would you kick it deep?
And they have to call the same fair catch from the same guy. Jake Fromm throws, completes. Terry Godwin trying to reverse field, get what he can before he's run out of bounds in front of the Georgia bench.
Well, right now, Georgia has to think the same thing about their quarterback that we talked about, Jerrod Stidham. The way Jake Fromm is playing, they don't want to lose him. They've got big games coming up in front of them. They still, control their own destiny. If they win the SEC, they're going to play either Auburn or Alabama in the championship.
They've got Kentucky next week. We'll be in Athens, and they finish off with their other arch rival from Georgia Tech. Fromm going deep into double coverage, almost intercepted.
That looked pretty familiar to a pass down the middle like that before. Bounced up between 2 guys. Remember, it was 2 Georgia guys that bounced that ball up. Trey Matthews
being one of them.
And he's on the other side this time.
Well, here's what we're talking about.
Same direction and everything, right?
Trey's wearing a different uniform there. He's a Bulldog at this point. And Nick Marshall on 4th and 18 lets it rip ends up becoming the prayer of Jordan Hare. And now the best run of the day, probably by Swift. That wasn't that much. Here's the end of the play we're talking about. And I remember Vern said that's the play of the year, but he didn't realize 2 weeks later there was going to be a bigger one.
I think it was me. I think I should say, you're never going to see one like that again. 2 weeks later, we did.
Yep. Clock winding down near the 5-minute mark. From pressured again. And he's going to run with it this time. Gets what he can, which is about 4 yards before he's run out of bounds, and we check in with Allie.
Guys, Stidham had a cut on his throwing hand, and he looked like he was in pain when they put the alcohol on it, but he was really just joking around. He was smiling. I said, "Are you doing okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm hanging in there. It's just a cut. I'll be totally fine." So I think a little overreaction in the beginning, but no big deal. He's good to go.
Well, just as you were saying that, a big smile on his face on the sideline.
Looks good.
Yep. Second down and 6. From throws far side, another good throw and catch. This one to Hardman. But right now Auburn trying to keep everything in front of them defensively. So the clock winds, 4:38, and now starts again after they move the chains.
Well, this big stage was not handled well by Georgia, but they're going to get opportunities, as we talked about, to get back on that big stage again.
And the throw knocked down. Nice job defensively by Jeremiah Denson.
Kevin Steele was happy to have Jeremiah Denson healthy again and back on the field. Said he was not healthy for the LSU game, but feels like when he's got him as his dime back, one extra player, he's a valuable player for him. This is almost like a practice scrimmage for Jake Fromm right here.
Yeah, exactly. There's Elijah Holyfield. Looked like he got face masked around the 20, but I don't see a flag. Well, he's straightening his helmet out. He was looking for one too, I think.
Well, I would never have bet at this Auburn team. I thought they might be effective stopping the run, but not like this.
Wins short of the first down.
A team that's averaging 280 yards rushing a game is under 50.
Number 1 in the conference and 8th in the nation. And here's another 4th down. Holyfield looks like he might have gotten it. Trey Williams said he didn't.
If the yellow line is correct, I don't think he did.
Maybe not. And they got another one by the nose of the football. Now the Auburn defense is thinking, we are not going to give up a touchdown. We gave up one on the opening drive. We're not going to give up another one. But they did. Touchdown, Georgia. Riley Ridley.
You set that up really well, though, I have to say. If I was watching at home, I would have stayed to see what happened. Let's put it that way. Good route by Ridley. Pressured the defense to the outside. Jamel Dean had outside leverage, no help inside, and you know, the Georgia and especially Jake Fromm got some experience throwing the ball.
Yeah.
From the pocket, something he hasn't had a lot of this year.
Blankenship's extra point is good. But with 2:19 remaining in the ball game, it's way too little and way too late. But for Georgia, it was a 74-yard drive in 14 plays, and it's Fromm to Ridley, 40-17. And as we said, they will party into the night at Toomer's Corner. Everybody's up close here. The hands team anticipating an onside kick from Blankenship, which they don't get. And he kicks it away.
We go to the committee side, and I know Notre Dame fans are upset that they're not in automatically, but believe me, they're not.
Malik Willis in, the backup quarterback, going to run it and get buried. Let's go back to it again.
And I believe that the Final Four will come out of these 10. So that means the committee will decide who the fourth player is if the chalk holds. Will it be Oklahoma TCU winner and Big 12 winner? Will it be Notre Dame running the table that will get in, or will it,
get them out of there.
Washington lost. They're not back in it.
Put them back up there.
So that's how I think it looks going in to week 3 of the committee. I don't even have a computer either, and I can do that.
I know. I like the way you did that, though. Now to minute 35. Cam Martin finally in there. Willis going to throw.
Oh
man.
Goodness. Come
you
on.
talk about memory that Kirby Smart won't forget here.
I mean, I know the backups are in. All of them are in. Marquise McClain, number 17, it is in. And this is just part of the play call. But, you know, I think Gus looked across the way and said, you know, you were giving your freshman quarterback some seasoning. I got to give my freshman quarterback some seasoning, too. I'm just making it up as I go on.
I know. You might be 100% right. I just can't believe they threw a pass. That's all.
I tell you the truth. I'm just saying, if you're Alabama right now, you're hoping Auburn beats, if you're Georgia, you want to see this team one more time.
And now they do run it. And we might have to have one more play.
You know, there is that old thing, though. You know, if you're playing sports and you don't want somebody to rub it in, you know what you need to do?
Stop them.
Yeah, you need to stop them.
Don't throw.
Don't throw it. Don't throw. Don't throw it. I want the clock to run, and I'm headed to Waffle House.
Exactly.
I got to get there. I don't think he was supposed to. I think Gus is going to go where I didn't call it. I didn't call it.
Chip did. And they run it up the middle. And that will end the game. The 121st edition of the Deep South's oldest rivalry. And it was all Auburn today. And there's the handshake. What a big win for Auburn as they go to 8-2. And Georgia falls from the ranks of the unbeaten. Down to Alley with the winning coach.
Coach, congratulations. You didn't just beat the #1 team in the country. You dominated the #1 team in the country. How proud are you of this team?
I'm real proud. I'm proud of our fans. It was a great atmosphere. Got off to a slow start. Had to kick a couple field goals there. In the second half, we imposed our will on them. I'm very happy for our team. We're playing really good football right now.
Everybody talks about Georgia's defense. How about your defense?
Yeah, our defense one of the best in the country. What did we hold them to? 46 yards. And some of that was in the fourth quarter. So happy with our defense. We rushed for 237. Couldn't be happier.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Great balance on both sides today for Auburn. Running the ball with Kerryon Johnson. And the head coach gets a hug from Christie. 40-17 is the final. We're going to see you next week between the hedges as the Dogs try to put it back together. Auburn's still rolling. Who knows? If they can beat Alabama, they'll see Georgia again in Atlanta. That's going to wrap it up. For Gary and Allie, Brad Nessler saying so long from Auburn. College football postgame show powered by Ram is up right after these messages. So long from the Plains.